All right, now check this out, everybody. Now we already went over the connection between BBC and Sony, right? Sony Music Entertainment with the two brothers, and we already explained how much of a conflict of interest that is, right? Now we got 2019 comes about.
Hold up for a second. Once again, we're dealing with a machine. So we're going to do our due diligence and say alleged
Oh yeah,
on this entire video.
yeah, allegedly. This is allegedly, all right, everybody. So 2019 comes about. They already did the first little documentary, where they had, Rocky Bivens on there line. First he said he didn't see R. Kelly doing nothing wrong. And remember everybody when he said that's how clever he must be. Because if he's doing it, because I never seen nothing happen, right? Just like a lot of people. They all of them say they never saw nothing happen, right? But then he wanted to say something else at the end, phony stuff, right? But we made the connection, okay? Now, 2019 come about. You got Surviving R. Kelly comes out. And this is it. This is the one that I don't care what anyone says. I mean, it's obvious. This is the documentary that got the world in a frenzy about R. Kelly. And it got the authorities to do a rush to judgment. And they did a rush and prosecuted R. Kelly for the state cases, right? They put them charges on him so they can get that passport. We know that, everybody. And then the federal charges came after that, right? Now, when we think of Surviving R. Kelly, right? It's important that we ask ourselves, who all were the producers on Surviving R. Kelly? Okay. Now, we know the obvious ones. We know about Dream Hampton. We know Tamar Simmons. We know them, right? But then you got a production company called Boonham and Murray Productions. Boonham and Murray Productions, right? Now, Boonham and Murray Productions was founded in 1987 by Mary Ellis Boonham, who I believe is passed away now, and Jonathan Murray, right? Now, this company is responsible for a lot of reality shows. It's a major reality tycoon show, right? They're responsible for The Real World, Road Rules, The Ruins. You know what I'm saying? Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I mean, they're responsible for a lot of reality shows, okay? Now, and they're actually the ones that brought this company is actually the company that brought Dream Hampton on board. You see what I'm saying? So that this company could stand in the background. They put Dream Hampton in the front,
Once again, let's put the black token up there.
Yep.
Okay. And while the white ones that's really running stuff is sitting there out of sight.
Exactly.
But understand, we're not prejudiced. We're just giving you facts. Okay?
Exactly. Exactly. So let's put that out there right then and there. Nobody's prejudiced. We just telling you the reality of the situation. All right. Now, when you think of what company owns Boonham and Murray Productions, the parent company to them is Banijay. Now, Banijay was founded by Stephanie Corbett in January of 2008. It's one of the largest content producer and distributors with over 150 production companies across 22 territories. It's a multi-genre catalog containing over 100,000 hours of original programming. And it's headquartered in Paris, all right? But it's a major media company, all right? Now, you got Banijay that owns this production company, Boonham and Murray Productions, Oh, and let's not forget Creative Incorporated. That's also another production company that worked on Surviving R. Kelly as well. Both of those companies are owned by Banijay, right? Now, Banijay, on the other hand, its owners, it's a split. Well, not a 50-50 split. It's LDH, which owns 67.1% of the company, and the other 32.9% is owned by Vivendi. Vivendi. Now, who is Vivendi? All right, who is Vivendi? Vivendi is a company. It's a major conglomerate company. I think it's overseas as well. I think it's located in France. It's headquartered in France. It's a French media company, a French media conglomerate. That's what it is. And it now owns 80% of Universal Music Group. And as we all know, Universal Music Group owns most of R. Kelly's publishing. So when we think about that, right, we think of the connection between Sony and BBC doing the first documentary. And now we have a connection between Surviving R. Kelly and Universal, which did the major documentary. Well, actually, they did about 3 of them, didn't they? Surviving R. Kelly 1, Surviving R. Kelly 2, Surviving R. Kelly, The Impact.
About 3 or 4. Yeah.
Now, you got the 2 biggest music companies in the music industry. Universal Music Group, which is number 1. Sony Music Entertainment is number 2. However, when you talk about publishing, they switch places. Sony Music Entertainment owns the biggest publishing company, which is Sony Music Publishing, and Universal Publishing is the second biggest publishing company. These 2 companies, and I know Warner Music, they own some of R. Kelly's publishing as well. So let's not leave them out of this. But these 2 companies specifically, Sony, who owns R. Kelly's masters, and Universal, who owns most of R. Kelly's publishing, both of them have connections to these documentaries that were responsible for flipping the public's mind, getting the public against R. Kelly, where the public is thinking that R. Kelly, they made you think like he has this history, some sort of history of dealing with minor girls, which if you really do your research, you'll realize that that's not true. What there is there's rumors, and it isn't that many. It's not 30 years of rumors. It's only a allegation of a marriage, and then a allegation of a sex tape that he went to trial for in 2008, and he was acquitted. Other than that, the only other thing that comes to mind is that bogus rumor in 2017, the same year that all this nonsense got started, which is the same year that would make R. Kelly's 25th year in the music industry after his original release date, born into the 90s in 1992. And of course, once you're in the business for 25 years, that's when you can put in the notice to the label saying, I want my masters back. All right. Now, 2017, that bogus article that Jim Derogatis, once again, the man responsible for all these narratives that they used on Surviving R. Kelly for the most part, and the BBC documentary, he puts out a bogus article talking about a sex cult. He hasn't brought no evidence to the table. There has been no evidence brought to the table from anybody, for that matter, that can prove that narrative. And of course, he hasn't recanted it. The media has not recanted it. And matter of fact, everybody, I want to know, what was you saying earlier about CNN and CBS and
Which part?
about how they need to recant with all that they've done?
Absolutely. They said these girls were in the basement, in chains, pissing in buckets, couldn't eat. None of that was true.
Right.
None of that was true. Why aren't they getting on national TV saying that these things were untrue?
Exactly.
That's what needs to happen. You smear this man's name night after night after night after night on things that were not true, and you don't recant at all. See, it's like this. This RICO racketeering thing, not to get off, but just real quick, think about this. They're saying that this man made music so he could transfer minor children across state lines for sex. This man that was blessed with this God-given talent to compose, to write, to sing, to help others, to give back. He's done so much. God gave him all this so he could hurt little children.
I just do not believe that.
Because if they get away with this, they're able to take all of his music.
Yep.
Because it's like being a drug kingpin, for example. Say this drug dealer never had a job. That's how come they say the smartest drug dealers will keep a job. Because if they ever come and get your stuff, oh well, I bought some of this for my job money.
Right, and they
because
can't.
If you didn't buy any of that with your job money, they can seize all of it and keep it.
For that forfeiture.
Right.
Yep.
So with the forfeiture, they can take all of his music and keep it.
And
leave him with nothing.
And what's going to happen is the government would then own it, and they would just sell it right back to the labels. It's standard practice. They do it all the time.
That makes no sense. This man does not have to make music to get women.
Right.
We know that. That's not why he made music. That's not why God blessed him with this God-given talent. It makes no sense. And for anybody that think that they're going to get any of us to believe this, they can think again.
I just want to know, how is Sony Music Entertainment and Universal Music Group not a part of this so-called criminal enterprise? I just don't understand how they're not a part of it. If they're saying that R. Kelly promoted his music and brand, and he was running a criminal enterprise, and he promoted his music and brand in order to recruit girls or whatever and women, how in the hell is these labels, who was the boss of R. Kelly, not involved with the enterprise?
Not being charged.
Exactly. And if anybody promoted R. Kelly's music and brand, it would have been the music labels.
The biggest promoters.
Right. But Universal, right? They own most of this man's publishing. Now, we just brought the connection with Universal, who is owned by Vivendi, okay? And Vivendi, like we said, owns Banner J, and Banner J owns, they don't fully own it, but they partly own it, okay? And Banner J owns the Boonham and Murray Productions and Creative Incorporated, both the two production companies that both was responsible for producing Surviving R. Kelly. And you tell me it ain't a setup? Y'all telling me it's not a setup? When is CNN going to be brought to the table to talk about why they was watching child pornography? Why would Michael Avenatti bring a tape that he claims is child pornography to CNN, and why would CNN watch that tape and then admit to watching that tape?
And have not been charged yet.
And they have not been charged yet. It seems like the government, right, the federal government, for them to be saying he's running a criminal enterprise, they sure are not charging a lot of people. I thought when you do a RICO, you go after the whole establishment. I didn't know that you just charge R. Kelly in the New York indictment. I didn't know that. And the only other two people that there's no other charges in the New York indictment.
Who are the other players?
Right. They said that his managers, bodyguards, and runners and all this, but nobody else is being charged.
Right. Where's the RICO? Where's the racketeering?
They need to stop playing with us, man. It's all about this man's music, and I don't know why y'all like.
They need
Come
to say
on, man.
sorry and let this man go and drop these charges because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not.
They've done enough of trying to mislead everybody. You know, stacking the deck on them. Won't give them a bond for someone with no criminal record. Okay, they need to let this man go and leave him alone. It's done. It's done.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible, y'all. Not to mention, right? There's I thought that this might be some important information as well. You know, Sony, right? Just to get back on them real quick. Sony has a joint venture with BBC Studios. Okay, and their venture is called Sony BBC Earth. All right, and they also have a joint venture with Lifetime. It's called Lifetime Latin America. Okay, which is a joint venture that Sony has with A&E. Actually, I'm sorry, A&E, who owns Lifetime, and then as we know, Walt Disney and the Hearst Corporation have a 50-50 split. They both own A&E. So there's so many corporations and so many players involved with this. And like we've been trying to explain to everybody, when you're talking about corporate America, these board of directors with these corporate companies, they all have stock in these companies.
In each other's companies.
Right. And that's why you see so many corporations affiliated with this takedown. Because apparently, I don't know if this is if this is true or not. I'm just gonna say alleged definitely for this. But I just know how they do things in corporate America and how they play games when it comes to stock. You see what I'm saying? They all buy stock in each other's companies. And that's how they keep their power. You know, whoever has the most stocks owns the, majority of the company.
It's a safety net.
Yeah.
It's like a circle, and they built this net, and ain't nobody getting it to them because they all are in it, allegedly. Where you go to that one. Okay, I'm not done. I don't like this one, so I'm gonna go over this one. But if you go over to this one is affiliated with that one. Right. So you go into the same company, really. You know what I mean? Right. That are invested in each other.
That's how they do it. That's how they do it. So R. Kelly, man, like we said, this trial is going nowhere. I don't think they have no evidence. What happened is, right, everybody, what I believe, R. Kelly was starting to challenge the labels about his masters and his publishing and stuff. And what they said was, he tried to tell us on the Gayle King interview. He told everybody what this was about. He said, I gave y'all 30 years of my career, and now y'all trying to kill me. That was clearly, I took that as him talking to the labels.
And the song,
yeah.
I admit.
And he said it, and I admit, yeah.
It's not like we haven't seen this before.
Right, it happens all the time, especially with African American artists.
Prince, Michael Jackson. How many people we gotta see this happen to before we step up and say no more?
Exactly.
No more. No more.
Exactly.
We're not having this, y'all.
It ain't gonna happen.
Y'all know this. I know y'all know this. We cannot allow them to take him. We cannot.
Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So there it is, everybody. On that note, like, share, and subscribe on both videos. We will holler at y'all, on the next one. We're gonna bring more connections with these corporations, and we're gonna get into some more topics and stuff like that. But everybody, man, just know, Universal. There's a connection between Universal and Surviving R. Kelly, and then you have the connection with Sony Music Entertainment and the BBC network that did the other documentary, the Sex, Drugs, and STDs on R. Kelly, which is obvious proof that they are a part of this takedown, the labels, that is.
And y'all keep praying for R. Kelly. Let's keep praying for each other, and we love you guys.
Yes, indeed. God bless y'all. Peace out.